All right, guys, welcome. Welcome to class. So this is the third time I'm recording this, okay? And I didn't have the sound on last time, so wonderful. All right, so we're just going to review exponents. I'm just going to go over the basic things you need to know. Obviously, I'm not going over in depth because this is review, but just let me know, okay? And what you need, and we can work that out. But basically, what I'm looking at here is what's the power? The power is the whole thing right here. Right? That's called a power. The base is the big number. The exponent is the small number, usually written at the top of the base, or always written at the top, near the top right corner of the base. Okay. So the base is the number we're multiplying, and the exponent tells us how many times to multiply it, okay? Now, maybe you're saying, come on, like, this is, whatever. But why do we use exponents, right? So the reason is that instead of writing out 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 all the time, right, we want an easier way to write it, right? Instead of writing x times x times x times x times x times x, right, we want to write x to the 6th, okay? So it's a way to shorten our life. But to understand the what to do with exponents, you got to know the rules. Can't play the game if you don't know the rules, right? So what you want to focus on is this stuff right here, right? And you want the explanation. You really want to know the rules, right? So when you're multiplying two powers, you should be able to tell me, add the exponents. When you divide powers, subtract the exponents. What to do with a negative exponent? A power of a power, power of a product, power of a quotient, and the zero power, okay? So you've just got to know the rules, right? You've got to know what to do and when to do it, okay? The most common things people have trouble with are negative exponents, okay, and what to do with those, all right? And sometimes this power of a product rule, okay? But you've got to know what to do, right? So focus on being able to tell me, what to do with the powers, the explanations. And there are some examples to the right, okay? If we look at a couple of these, well, why do we add the exponents here, right? Well, this is really x times x, right? Times another 4 x's, right? And that's why you get x to the 6th, right? For this second example, there's really 3 x's on top and 2 on the bottom, which leaves us with 1x, right, if we cancel these out, okay? Now, for the negative exponents, it's going to be a little more confusing, but again, a negative power in the numerator goes to the denominator, a negative power in the denominator goes to the numerator, all right? That's basically it. Now, for these, when you have a power of a power, again, you're just going to look and say, okay, well, look, this is x to the third 4 different times, right? X to the third, x to the third, x to the third, x to the third. That's 4x to the thirds, right? It doesn't make it 4x cubed, right? But now we go back to rule number 1 and we add the exponents to make it x to the 12th, right? Same thing here, y to the 18th. It's really y to the 6 times y to the 6 times y to the 6. Add the exponents and we get y to the 18th, okay? Now for the quotient and the product rules, for powers, again, everything in the parentheses gets raised to the power outside. So you got to account for everybody inside, okay? Each different term. And lastly, be careful with negative signs, right? The 0 exponent applies to what it's written next to, right? So x to the 0 is 1. But in this problem right here that I'm going to circle, the negative sign does not apply to 0, right? The negative's outside of the parentheses. Everything in the parentheses is raised to the 0 power, okay? Then we have a negative outside, So this becomes 1, and then it becomes negative 1. Okay? All right. So just a few things, right? When you're done simplifying, how do you know? No negative exponents, that's a big one. Only one x, only one y, only one z, right? There shouldn't be a z in the top and a z to the fourth on the bottom, right? All fractions simplified, that's just a given. No power of powers, which means, you know, nothing like this, right? Just write that as x to the 12th, right? That would be simplified, okay? Order of operations still applies, and what I would say is simplify your numbers first and then your variables, right? So like here, 4 times 2 is 8, and then I'm going to do x to the third times x to the third, which is x to the 6th, okay? So I would suggest just do these problems. I have the answers below, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it, okay? So yeah, make sure you do your Delta Math review, due tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right.